You know, I got to make that theme music my ringtone. I'm starting to really get used to it.
I
But
like
welcome, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Broker to Broker podcast. I'm your host, Marc Summers, founding president of AIME. That's enough about me. Today, I'm very excited for someone who's been very seasoned in this industry, both on the retail and broker side, or getting more acquainted with the broker side, I should say. But very excited to have this person here. She works for a great company. So we have Molly Meeker, National Sales Manager at Edge Home Finance. Molly, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So do me a little favor here, because right before we started filming, you were kind of telling me a little bit about your history and how you were a top one. I'll let you tell the story. I don't want to ruin it, but I mean, you've been very successful in this business, but most of it was on the retail side, and now you're coming over to broker. So if you can, just give us a little bit of a rundown of, you know, your history, how you got into, we'll call it the mortgage world, along with your journey, and then ending up at Edge.
Yeah, so like 100 years ago, I actually started as a notary. And when I started doing all the paperwork, I was like, oh, loan officers make a fair amount of money. Maybe I should do that. So I was making six figures as a notary. I was one of the only ones in town, and I had my own schedule, all the things. And then I started doing loans, and I had even more time. I had my own schedule. It was great. And that's how I started, way back before you even needed like an NMLS license or any of that good stuff, right? And I did start in the broker world. And then I moved into the retail world. And be quite honest, at that time, I mean, I didn't even know that there was really a huge difference between the two, right? Because I just wasn't seasoned enough. I wasn't mature enough to understand. And that was with Prospect Mortgage. And then I moved to Bay Equity Home Loans, which was, you know, recently went through a buyout, and I knew I needed to make a move. And my feelings became just really clear that I did not want retail to run my pricing and my setup and how I operated anymore. And at first, it was less about the broker world and more about just having control. So when I went over to Edge, not only do you have control over your own business and how you run it and what lenders you use, you have a real indication of what pricing looks like. And the kicker was the technology. So when you look through the technology of what the broker has now, it's almost like, it's so stunning to me how fast things go. And that was not happening where I was before. You know, you had regular underwriters, there was no AI involved, there wasn't, you know, multiple places to choose from. And you just don't know what you don't know. And I loved both of my previous companies, my managers, all my people, but this has been an absolute game changer for me because I was so stuck in the world of brokers are bad. And then I have friends that were brokers. They're like, you're crazy that you're staying in retail this long. And I held on, you know, but I'm so happy to make this move because I think the technology alone seals it for me. It's so easy.
Okay, so technology is the big thing, because I know on the retail side, they boast about their technology. I think it's just more or less of how they contact people and their marketing. But what's the difference with that? Like, so for example, retail talks about, oh, we get our clients because they just hammer multiple millions of people. And you have technology over there. How do you combine those both?
Yeah, so I don't think all retail is able to hammer clients like that. I think the big ones are, but your mid-level retail person like we weren't hammering out our clients. They had a great CRM system that marketed to people. That is different on the broker side. But when I'm saying technology, and I'm glad you separated that, I'm talking about the tech to get the loan done. Like, we're having underwriting approvals in a day or 2 days. And people are like, oh, well, just wait till it gets busy again. I'm all, why? Is AI going away? Like, what difference does it make if it's the same process? I think some of our broker partners are waiting for us to get busier so we can still see how fast they can move. There was a difference, I think, when it came to the marketing piece. That is probably something that's a little different for a lot of people. I have a huge CRM that I use, so my marketing personally didn't take a hit, but I could see that maybe that would be why people would look at a little bit of retail as opposed to broker. But at the end of the day, that wasn't worth it to me anymore. So I think the retail world I think they're going to have to step up to the AI process a little bit more, or they're going to drown, because taking 2 or 3 days to underwrite, I mean, that's almost unheard of for what we do in the broker world. I mean, even jumbos are written in $8. So
Right.
I'm enjoying the speed because I think it's speed to lead, time to deal. I think when you can show people they're already approved within 2 days, it settles their mind. And so when you go into talking about the consumer experience, it's a lot different. You're not waiting multiple days to go into like a processing hub and someone to look at this and an opening hub and then an underwriter and then kick it out. I mean, if you're doing good loans and you kick it into the broker system, you upload it, I mean, for the most part, it moves really quickly. And I think no matter what people say, that's what they want. They want speed. And I think people will spend longer buying a car. They'll sit at a car dealership all day long than they will at a loan. They're like, I want to know right now. Right? I'm like, okay, give me a minute. I got to make sure, right, that we're good. But I mean, and we've done things here that are totally different than what we could do where I was before, as well as like overlays. So I get asked a lot now from my friends, like, well, what are the overlays? I don't even know. I haven't had any issues like that. I mean, we had overlays at retail because they have to worry about selling it, right? The broker world, I'm not so much experiencing that. And I'm not saying there's not overlays, but I'm just not experiencing some of those same issues that I was before.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, one of the things you said is like your friends were telling you broker bad, right? I think that's a term that you use. What was your besides technology just per se, what was your aha moment like, wow, this is pretty cool over here?
So I've had the same loan officer assistant, and she's really my loan partner now. So my loan partner, she's licensed, and my processor for like 17 years. And the fact that both of them and me, we just like clicked, everything just happened. We use a different LOS that we had never used before. And my loan partner is like, click, 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 the loan is submitted. I'm like, what? Because before we were using a different system, a little bit more clunky. I don't know if I can brag on systems. I don't want to say any names or whatever, but Encompass. And now we have Arrive, which we really like. And it's just, it was mind boggling because when you make a move, it usually takes 60 to 90 days. And we closed 10 loans in our first month.
Really? 10 loans in your first month?
Yeah.
That's
we were just,
cool.
And I was prepping my agents. I was like, hey, give me some grace. This is going to be new to me. And we were brokering at the place we were before, but not in this capacity. And it was just like, wow, you can do so much more. And to be quite honest, you have a little bit more time, right? I can spend more time with my clients because I'm not busy doing this other office-y, clunky, filling things out. Like, it's pretty streamlined. And I'm pretty excited about it. So I don't know what the version will be for the people that are still retail when they want to say like, oh, you're just not going to be able to survive when we get busier. I don't know why we wouldn't. I don't understand that when they say that. So I think if things don't change, everything should stay the same, right? We should be able to underwrite quick. We should be able to get conditions back in. We put them in the bucket and move on.
Yeah, all of our lending partners do a very good job of staffing up when they see it getting busy. But the funny thing about that is when you were saying your retail friends are like, oh, just wait till it gets busy. Well, if they're already 3 days in underwriting, aren't they going to be 7, 8, 9, 10?
100%. That's what was happening. And their rule, I mean, it's just wild. But yeah, I mean, I get it because I was a naysayer also, right? Because I was in retail, I was trying to support that, I was trying to hold on to that. And I don't know why I fell captive to that narrative, but I know now that I was wrong. Don't tell my husband I said I was wrong because he doesn't ever think I'm wrong, right? But it is a false narrative. I really believe that. Whatever broker you're at, I mean, I'm sure that a lot of it looks the same. And it just so happens, and I didn't know this when I went here, that Edge was the #1 broker. That wasn't what drove me here. I mean, that ended up being a really powerful piece of it, but I was just really looking for a place where you could just go to work. That's all I want to do. I just want to work and do loans. I don't need all the other stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously, if you're closing 10 loans in your first month of being a broker, I mean, you know how to grow your business. So even if it was from the retail side or what you know now on the broker side, like when people are trying to grow their business, what do you think is like a 1 or 2 thing that's like non-negotiable? If you want to grow your business, you have to do these things.
Yeah. So a long time ago, I went to I won a coaching session. I'd never been coached before. And one of the number one things that I wasn't calculating correctly was my numbers. How many people I need to talk to, how many people I need to get in front of, and what I need to do. And once I did that, it kind of changed my life. I hit my 5-year goal in 2 years. I talk about that because I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to go get a regular job. I can't, I'm not getting enough business. Well, if you went to work a regular job, that's 6 to 8 hours a day. Are you putting 6 to 8 hours a day in your business? Are you calling people? Are you showing up? Are you scouring the internet to look at listings or properties that you might be able to do reports for or show up to? Do you go by open houses? Like, what are you doing? Or are you just sitting back waiting for it to come to you? Because we are in the age today where there's nothing that's going to come to you. You have to go get it with all the marketing stuff, all the social media, all the big, huge lenders out there they're 10 steps ahead of you. So you have to go grow those relationships and grow that business. And then the worst thing you do is be silent about what you do. So if your friends don't know, if your family doesn't know, if the teams that your kids play on don't know, if at the swim party, none of them know what you're doing for a living, that's your problem. You've made a huge error. Like, everybody knows I do mortgages. I mean, there isn't a person probably in this town that doesn't know what I do for a living. And like, sometimes even like my husband or my daughter, like they're our biggest champions, right? So like, everybody needs to be talking about what you're doing. And I think a lot of people just sit back and they think, oh, my friend's going to buy a house, he'll probably use me. Why? What would drive them? Right? So you have to work it like a real job. I mean, there's no time when I'm just sitting there going, oh, well, I think someone will call me today and they're going to want me to give them a loan. It just doesn't work like that. I'm texting, I'm calling, I'm emailing. We have a big CRM. We're marketing to people. I'm showing up at things. I threw a lemonade party yesterday. We had 65 realtors come through. It's kind of what, you have to think out of the box. You have to do things to drive the process to you, or it's going to pass you by.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, you'll be shocked, like how many people I talk to that you're echoing everything that I'm about to say, along with a book I just read. And it's just like holding yourself accountable. You have to let people know at all times. You got to be proud of what you do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, whatever your dream job was, GM of an NFL team, I know you would be telling everyone, you know what I mean? That
100%.
So don't be afraid to do this and keep creating those relationships, because that is the one up thing. And I think it is the most important that we have on the big banks, the retails, the heavy hitters, is that we can create relationships. And the technology that some of these banks have and stuff is unbelievable. You're absolutely right. They're 10 steps ahead of us, but creating those relationships, that's how you're going to grow this business and always be on top of mind of people.
Right. And I think it's also like, once you get to a point where you have some agents, right, like educating them. So recently I've done a lot of second looks at stuff that people were pre-approved with other more so national shops, and we're really able to take that and break it down and really educate the client and saying this is kind of where the differences are. So know your paperwork too. Like, a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what this is, and your agents don't know. So my agents are trained. They're like, wait a minute, there's a whole bunch of points on here. We're calling Molly. Like, you have to make sure that everybody around knows that you're a resource. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes they can't get people to move over. But sometimes, you're looking at this stuff going, let me help these people understand. If they still choose to go do this other thing, that's fine. But I do trainings for realtors, and it's called Lending 101, because I want them to have enough. Right? Not everything. I don't want them to do our jobs, but I want them to have enough to know, like, maybe we need to look at something else. I mean, that's if they're sending it to me first. Then they're in big trouble. But
no, that's smart. I mean, like, education is another big thing, and it doesn't have to be so intense, but any knowledge that these realtors and your referral partners can open up doors for you. If you just sit there and say, I do mortgages and that's it,
right?
Well, then that's all you're going to get is like a once in a while mortgage, but if you can educate them and say, hey, if they're a lower income borrower, they might be eligible for this.
Right.
Jumbos are doing really well over here on this, cash outs, all these different things that the lenders give us, with pricing incentives. Like, you got to let them know.
Yeah, like HELOCs. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I have done just a bunch of HELOCs, which that was never anything I could do on retail. As a matter of fact, I've seen my friends like say, oh, I'm just referring it to a credit union. I have a guy at the credit union that's referring me HELOCs that they can't do. And it's kind of crazy because there's some great opportunity so I started posting that. And next thing you know, it was like, oh, I need a HELOC. I need a HELOC. I didn't know who to talk to. And oh, I can call you. And I mean, even my loan partner, Sarah, both of us were like, this is crazy. Like, we're becoming the HELOC queens of the San Joaquin, like, what's going on here? So, I mean, there's always a little niche and you never know when someone needs something. So if you're not putting as much as you can, it's hard to put everything out there, but if you're not putting it out there, you never know when you're going to hit someone right at their pain point too.
Right. No, that's smart. I mean, use all the tools you have. That's what I always say. You use all of your tools. So with that being said, like right now at the time of this recording, rates have been on, we'll call it a mini run. Okay. Yeah. Now, the thing that I want to get across to everyone here is if you think that rates just dropping are going to get you more business, you're out of your mind. Okay. Like Jason, I just had Jason Frazier on. He's like, what you do now will dictate what you are in 90 days. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm a full hard believer in that. But for people now, what advice would you give them if we are coming into this rate drop and it's going to continue to drop? What advice would you give to people right now to make sure they're top of mind and make sure they can strike when it's time to strike?
So actually, I just had this conversation 2 days ago. So I'll talk about refi first. I think if you have a book of business, you should be reaching out to those people. You can say it's a mortgage overview or you want to be ready if rates drop, but asking them for their mortgage statement. So I asked 6 people for their mortgage statement Tuesday night. I have 4 of them on Wednesday morning. And people want to be involved in that process. So if you have people that you've closed or you have your database, start reaching out to them and just say, we want to get ready. Some of them you might be able to start now, and some of them we can see if we'll get there. As far as purchase is concerned, I still think that we have an affordability crisis. I don't know how far you want me to get into what I really feel, but I live in California, so I think there's an affordability crisis. And I think that we go back to education about really helping the client understand that it is best to own if we can, right? I mean, we have like a couple companies have 1% down. You can always do the 3.5% down, FHA, those sorts of things. But it's really you have to spend a lot of time with that client to make them feel comfortable, right? And so it's talking to your realtors. It's like, hey, go back to your databases. Those people that said they're on the fence, it's time to jump off the fence. Let's get it back in touch with them. Although you can't guarantee it, because for me, like you said, the mini rate drop, like, I don't know if that's an anticipation of what's going to happen, later in September with the Fed. I don't know how much more of a drop we'll see, but you have to be ready for it. And you have to know who your target is. And the only way to do that is to put the work in now. And that's the stuff that we're doing. We're going back to all the people that we had pre-approved over the last 12 months and reaching back out to them personally. So we have drips that we do, but reaching out to someone personally, like, hey, where are we now? Oh, we rented, we signed a lease for a year. We can't get out of it. Or, knowing exactly where you are and spending the time to reconnect with them. And connection's important when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And people just, again, if you think they're going to call you back because you pre-approved them a year ago, they've already been through 6 realtors. They've looked at 700 properties on Zillow. They don't even remember your name. So you better do your job, because they'll go wherever my brother or sister's aunt told me to call Bob, So stay top of mind and put yourself in the position to win. And then talking to your realtors, I think, because some of them are feeling super beat down and maybe don't have the most confidence either. And it's like, hey, let's get back on this together, because it's been a rough go for them for a while, for sure. They're showing more properties than they've ever showed before. They're exhausted. They have fatigue. It's like, let's get back out in front of people. We have something good to share, so let's share it.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. The other thing is the cost of waiting. I know Barry Habib's big on this one. The cost of waiting, that home, if you wait 1 year for rates to drop, might be $25,000 more, 30,000, whatever range it is. Like you can lock in the price of your home. You can't lock in. Okay, you can lock in your rate, but the price of your home will never change, but your rate can always change.
Yeah. So, and I feel like knowing the real difference. So, like, okay, if you're at 6.25 today, and the rate goes down to 5.99, the difference in payment is X. Are you willing to wait for that? Are you willing to continue to pay someone else's mortgage? I mean, I remember when rates went down into the fives kind of for one of the first times in my career, and I was like, oh my God, this is unheard of. I've never seen anything like it. And then honestly, COVID happened, and I don't know. COVID was wild, and those rates were wild. And I think some people still think it's going to get there. I'm not one of those people. But I think they'll go down, and I think having a little bit of that, a little bit more consumer confidence, really out there working and talking to people, I think we could maybe get on a little run coming up here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. Like I've been really staying in contact with my clients like crazy, and just simple conversations. It's where do you want it to be? Like what is it going to take for you to make this jump or, pay off some debt? Like where is your breaking point? And just having those conversations, you say top of mind. And I feel like a lot of people are missing out on that. They sometimes think it's just, like drip campaigns or social media. It's way more than that. It's creating those relationships. So I want to move on to something here real fast. You're on the board of WMN.
Yes.
Right. So Julie Yarbrough, we all love Julie. She's spearheading that one. She's a woman on a mission right now. And it's fun to talk. It's fun to talk to her about it because she gets so amped up, but in a good way. So tell me what you guys are doing over at WMN and what's going to separate you guys.
Well, I got involved in that. I've sat on multiple boards before, so, you kind of get the gist of that. But it's a lot of women. I think there's just 20 of us that really all of us are on that mission to try and just get information out there, try and have a community and a tribe. We are doing the special event the day before AIME starts, I think is how that works. Yep. We're gonna have some really cool swag. I was part of that group that did that. My background is in finance, but I got put on the swag thing. I'm like, sweet, how much do we have to spend? But I think it's really women connecting with women. It's trying to know that you have a group, because the broker world can be sometimes a little bit lonely, I think, and you have to be involved in these kind of things to stay on top of what's happening in the marketplace, having resources with people, knowing that you have kind of a family, a tribe, as we like to say, and helping to grow your business that way. Like Julie actually had posted something about having some scripts and that sort of thing. And I'm running a script training here at Edge for some people. And I'm like, hey, send me your scripts. Like it's having that. Now for me, because I'm super new to broker, I did not know one of the women in the group, not one. So, I needed that, I needed to have some people to connect with and that are fighting some of the same battles. So I think it's great. I mean, this year will be my first year. I'm super excited. I was so excited that I booked 2 hotel rooms on accident. But I don't even know how I did that. But it will be interesting to me to see the face of what AIME and WMN can do and how it elevates all of us brokers to higher levels, right? And gives us more opportunity and more education, all the things that we need to be successful.
And for the record, a lot of the swag you're talking about just came in this week because it came into my office, so I had to take a peek. It's some pretty cool stuff.
There's some pretty cool stuff. Yeah. I'm not.
Don't let the cat out of the bag. But
I will get in big trouble if I do that. Julie has a sworn to secrecy, but I'm telling you, like, not a plug because I'm not. But if you aren't going, you should, because the swag alone. Because I think you get a ticket with your AIME membership, right?
You get one with their AIME membership.
Yeah, and so if you think you don't need to go to WMN, you should go just for the swag, but then you will get a lot out of it.
You got to lure them in sometimes.
Lure them in, yeah. I mean, listen, these are things I wasn't doing before, so I'm in the same boat. And I was telling those ladies, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, what a cool way to do this and piggyback off of, AIME, right? So that they're both together. It's great. And it should be something that we all like embrace, and women should support women. And I say that because I have a ton of men that support me. And we've talked about that in the group. Like, the men are on board, right? They're like, you're women, you're roaring, go do your thing. You guys are badass, whatever. But it's nice to have a group of women together that can do something like this and put something like this on. It's fun.
Yeah, no, the WMN last year got rescheduled just a little bit because of the hurricanes that we were in, but it was a kick-ass event. I mean, we just went in and peaked. We can't be part of it, which is fine. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we went in and peaked, and it was rocking. You know what I mean? And Julie leading the charge on that is always a good sign. She doesn't fail.
Well, you are right. She is a woman on a mission, and we're all stepping up to support each other, but also to support that in her. And you can really see it. Like, she wants this. She wants this for us. She wants to make sure that we all feel the broker love and all that good stuff. And it's wild, because I go back to what I first said in the beginning. I didn't even know this was here as a tool, right? So it's nice to be thrown into these rooms where it makes you feel more secure about the decision that you made to jump over to broker.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Molly, I got you for a couple more minutes here. All right. So, we're going to close this out here. Thank you for being on. But first, like, people are realizing, and we all know it. If you've been in this industry for 3 months, 30 years, it flies by. Every month flies by because you're worried about your month's end. You're worried about your rate locks, and it just keeps it goes by so fast. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are realizing that we're already in September. So we have a little bit of the year left. Good timing, because historically it is a slower time, kind of going into the winter months, but we also have possibly a rate drop coming here. So for you and your team for the rest of the year, what's your mindset? What are you focused on to finish out this year strong?
I think it's, really win every deal, talk to every person, make sure your speed to lead, you're making sure everybody's being communicated with, your realtors, your borrowers. It's also asking for the business. So we just did a loan for a guy, and at the very end, we always ask for the business. I'm like, hey, do you know anybody else? He's like, actually, my brother, and he's going to use the same realtor. And so we just put the brother's deal in escrow yesterday. Like, don't be shy about it. Get out there, talk to people. I think, I don't know that saying, like, a quiet mouth is not a fed mouth. And so I've never had the problem with being quiet. So I feel like you have to really go out there and work. But as far as mindset is concerned, just like believe in yourself. I had a lady tell me yesterday, you never have any problem talking about your business. Well, it's the one thing I really, really know. It's the one thing I should always be talking about. Like, if you want me to talk about like hockey, I don't know anything about hockey, but I know all about loans, right? And so talk to people, get out there. You'll be surprised how many things you can drive into your mind if you're out there talking about it positively. Like, we have something great to talk about right now with rates, dipping a little bit. So make that your starter conversation if you want, but you have to get in front of people. And this is typically the time where we start to see a lot of things slow down. We have pretty good weather through the summer or through the winter. So we tend to have some deals going, but I think staying positive and knowing that there's business out there, there's enough business for everyone, and talking to your agents and talking to your clients. I mean, that's where I would say our mindset is, because you have to put yourself out there.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Well, Molly, listen, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate your time. It was a great conversation. Very excited to meet you at Fuse. You know what I mean? We'll have to sit down and have a conversation, but you're going to love it, especially coming from the retail side. You're going to absolutely love it. But thanks for joining us today. You were absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. So brokers, if you want to get caught up on all of our past podcast episodes, please head over to aimgroup.com/broker to broker. You can get all of our great content there, along with all of our recordings on YouTube. That handle is at AIME National. But in terms of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can download a podcast, please do that. Please leave a review. It helps us spread the word that brokers are best. Molly, you're one of them. And once again, thanks for being here today.
Thank you.